All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are back with another episode of FOMO Friday. Excited to dive into the markets with Bits of Wealth today. Um, Bits, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Just getting ready for the weekend and just wrapping up some trades, wrapping up some moves from the week. So, and typically weekends I don't do a whole lot on the charts over the weekend. Even even Fridays I typically don't do a whole lot. Fridays and Mondays are kind of light days for me, but had some TradFi plays that are doing pretty well, so just managing some of that stuff and getting ready for weekend. Movies with the kids, doing stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, this is great. Well, it's there's been pretty good price action in the markets. Lots of stuff is happening. We have BTC making its move, exactly doing what we've been kind of talking about all these weeks, right? And
Yep.
so, really good start for August. We'll have to see how everything plays out. We will start with crypto market review. This is what we always do. I'm gonna send a bunch of invites over and get as many people up here as we can, right? So make sure that you're liking, retweeting, commenting. Let's get the word out there. And we will also have a lot of alpha today that I'm going to share after we're done with the BTC review. So stay tuned. Lots of stuff to cover today. Bits, take it away.
All right. Let me get my chart up here. Boom. Let's move over to Bitcoin. Ooh, it's dropping right now. Okay. Look, well, I'll start with the kind of zoomed out view, like I typically do. So, still very much so in an active downtrending move, right? Like this is still pretty clear. We're still trending down off of the high of last year. Nothing has really changed there. We're going through periods where we have, these like sideways chop ranges, and this could be another one of those if it continues pushing higher from here. Um, if we zoom in a little bit more, really like the key levels to watch, and I talk about these pretty regularly, so you guys should already be familiar. But it's like the highs and lows of daily, weekly, and monthly ranges. And in this case, right now we had a false move above previous day high, but daily ranges I'm always a little bit cautious with because daily ranges are good for, intraday type trades. It's good for even very, very short swings that maybe it's a multi-session, multi-day type of trade. But the ones that really give me the moves that I like the weekly swings and stuff, those rely on a breach of the weekly range or a breach of like the monthly range. And so we still have room to the upside here. Key levels really quickly for you guys to know. Here, let me zoom in a little bit more. I'll give you the exact levels. But so this here, right, so far was looking like it was just a quick fake out above the highs of yesterday. And so that level was about 65K. So it looks like it was a fake out above 65K. Next level I'd be looking at after a move like this is you're looking at the daily lows, right? So your daily lows are right here, previous day low at about like 64 200, 64 180, 190, somewhere around there. 50% of the previous week is a little bit below that right there, which is also a big, big level to watch. That's the halfway point of this bigger weekly range, right? That's right smack in the middle, which is where that previous day low is currently at right now. Excuse me, guys. Let me get a quick drink. A little bit of coffee, see if it soothes that. Um,
Take your time.
but the bigger range is this weekly, right? So previous week high up here at like 65.7, and that was off of this move here that happened. What was this? Monday the 27th. So that level is still above us. And then the low of last week is going to be down here at about 62. So this is a larger range that I'd like to see a move outside of to really set up like a big trade. So again, for a shorts happen to the upside, longs happen to the downside. So if this were to whether it reclaims that previous day high and goes higher now, or it heads down, finds a bounce, ultimately a move above that previous week high for a trade for me. If we see a move up there and it fails, it doesn't keep going higher, it doesn't take out 66, 67K up there, but you just get a fake out above that, that could be setting you up for a weekly swing that takes you back down here to the lows. And we know, because we've talked about this quite a bit, we know that there's a big liquidity area roughly down here for Bitcoin. Like there's a big area with a lot of passive stacked orders, a lot of liquidations, a lot of reasons why a move down here below the low of last week could be interesting. So for me, still, I am still looking for the potential to play back down into this area. And ultimately from here though, this would be a buy zone. This would be a bullish area to try and catch a bounce from if we make a move down into here or even slightly below that. So I what I don't know is the path that we take to get there. I don't know if first we go higher. Do we go first to 67, 68, maybe even to the 70s, and then it just bulldozes through this zone on the way down to new lows? Or do we see that next week we end up making a move to grab this liquidity next week, the week after, at some point, we come down, grab liquidity here, and then we turn around and we see a move back up towards the highs? Because these highs here, I also don't like that we have um, what you could almost call like equal highs, basically. Like they're within margin of each other, right? You almost have like equal highs here at about 67K. I think at some point that gets ran. Whether the market's going to have enough strength to push past that and flip it into support, only time will tell. Like it's too soon to say. I really don't know. Or if the more likely outcome is, hold on here, let me just delete it through over here. If the more likely outcome is that once we get above there, it just traps and then it heads lower, right? Like this could be a kind of a trap down here for the bears, a trap up here for the bulls, and then ultimately this heads down going into later in the year, which would be in line with 4-year cycle timing. Like that could be the case as well. I have been entertaining the possibility of, hold on, let me just erase this stuff. I have been entertaining the possibility of, could the market fake out um, in a way that's maybe a little more complicated? And let me tell you what I mean by that on Bitcoin. Could the market fake out in a way that looks maybe something like this, where this zone here, has already been basically sideways since the beginning of July? Like essentially, price has been sideways since the beginning of July, right?
Hmm.
Could this keep going sideways into the end of the month, right? Into the end of this month. And then at some point, could you get a fake out where it goes up here into these numbers that I've been talking about, right? The 72, 74, maybe even close to 80K. It could get up in close to 80K. Fake out the bulls, make it look like, oh my God, we're pumping into September, when we're supposed to be dumping September into October because that's when the bottom is supposed to be. But instead, we're kind of pumping into September, maybe even pumping into October, right? This could take some time. Like, could we pump into October, fake out everyone that's like the cycle deniers, right? Because they're gonna say, I told you we bottomed back here in June and July,
Hmm.
and then ultimately come down somewhere like November, December to put in the actual bottom, and then it goes higher. Like, I think there's a possibility of that, especially with as sideways as we've been here. But at the end of the day, like I'm gonna let the structure really drive that. But I am keeping that option open. I am keeping that option open that this could go sideways, chop. Like if you measure the amount of time that it went sideways back here from the selling climax through the peak, you were sideways for basically 90 days, 89, 90 days, right? Currently here off of it depends if you grab it off of this one or that one. We'll do both just for the sake of measuring it. We're only at 60 days. We're only at 60 days if you grab it off the selling climax from the beginning of June. If you grab it from the actual low or right below the low down here at the end of June going into July, so you're closer to about 40 days. So could it be the case that again, could August still be mainly flat and sideways? Could August not give us a whole lot? And then we see September, October gives us a move in either direction, does some kind of fake out. Um, I think that would be very, very interesting to see play out. I know
Mhm.
Tony's been talking a lot about this. Tony Severino, Tony the Bull, he's been talking about a move, and he's actually much more bullish than I currently am, and currently could see myself getting. But he's been talking about a move up here that goes maybe almost 90K. I think he's been saying like 89, 90K. Like it comes really up here, and it ends up just being a deviation above this high here, Lady Trader, at 83. So ultimately,
Mhm.
he's talking about something that swings up there, and then that gives us a huge dump to the downside. But a move like this would definitely break the 4 year cycle timing, in that the
Mhm.
actual bottom would probably be coming in late this year, early next year, right? It'd be like
Mhm.
almost a Q4, Q1 bottom for BTC. And then
Mhm.
something is actually, quote unquote broken. So interesting stuff. I think he's on with Landy tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to tune into that one because I believe
Mhm.
Tony and Landy are going to be streaming tonight, and I definitely want to catch that show because Tony's going to go right into why he's basically calling for that, and I think it's gonna be really interesting here. So
Mhm.
let's see here. But yeah, that's basically it. So for Bitcoin, look, I'm trading it. I'm trading Bitcoin right now, and I'm treating it just simply as a vehicle to trade because Bitcoin moves very clean. It gives you good ranges. It gives you very clean moves. I'm not buying. I'm not accumulating at these prices. I'm not trying to hold long-term positions. For me, it's just a trade here. Same with Ethereum. Ethereum for me is just a trade, even though it is looking currently a little bit stronger than BTC. I still, if we look at ETH BTC, I don't think it's ready. I don't think this is ready just yet. If you look at
Mhm.
Ethereum against BTC, this is still downtrending. Nothing has really changed here. You're still putting in lower lows and lower highs. And in my opinion, it's still within this bigger range that I have a yellow box around here. So ETH BTC, I don't think it's bottomed. There's no evidence. It's not even just my speculation. There's no evidence that it's bottomed yet. We were talking about XRP a little earlier. XRP and Litecoin and some of these other ones, Solana included. I don't think those are bottomed either. But could they put up a nice little leg to the high side if Bitcoin goes higher, or even if Bitcoin just kind of stays steady? Yeah, I think Solana could make a move back up to $100. I think Ethereum could make a move back up to, ETH can get back up maybe to 2,500, something like that. Sure, I think those moves are there, but I think those are just trades. I think those are trades. I don't think they're buy and hold opportunities. They're not generational entries. They're not forever longs. Like they're just not. They're just really not. So
Mhm.
I'm just keeping that in mind. Hyperliquid, a lot of people are so bullish on Hyperliquid, and I get it. I get the fundamental side of it. I get why people are bullish on it. In my opinion, though, and it's what I covered this week on streams. It's also what I've been talking about for like the last two weeks to almost about a month. Um, I still think Hype has a little bit more correcting to do. I think that was more than likely a local top on Hyperliquid up here at about 76, 77. I think it's going to move into the 40s, very likely to move into the 40s, with the potential that it even comes back into the 30s. And at those levels, I will be looking to position a Hyperliquid on a pullback like
Mhm.
that. So for me, Hyperliquid is not quite ready yet here. Um, Even though it did catch a bounce here, the bounce is still looking pretty weak to me. So I'm not super sold on this being the bounce that holds, in my opinion. And I've got these two
Mhm.
zones marked. But if it does come up here, I think you sell it somewhere up in this is what I would be looking to do. I'd be looking to take a short position up here. And if we dip back into the yellow box below down here, this is where I would be looking to see if it can show some strength and get some kind of a bounce. Because if it does produce a bounce from here, I'm willing to play it, even though I still think there's a better opportunity and a much more discounted price if it comes and sweeps this low down here at about 38. But again, I'm going to let the chart speak to me. So if this thing comes down, sweeps, but then quickly reclaims, then okay, I'll get positioned to the long side on that move, and we'll say, okay, maybe it's going to go and sweep highs one more time, and that would be enough for me to play that. It all would depend on how it does that. But if this thing keeps kind of walking this level here, then I'm going to get very cautious that it's not going to, potentially just break, lose that floor, and then give us something like that. And the real opportunity is down here after all, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
this is incredible.
but that's pretty much it. I mean, I've been talking a lot about SpaceX, and you can play this on the crypto side. You can play it on the TradFi side. It's really up to you guys. But SpaceX is an interesting one because it started to give bottoming signals probably about 2 weeks ago. It just wasn't quite ready yet, but it definitely started to give some bottoming signals. Even in like the 120s, it was starting to kind of change character a little bit. It was starting to slow down. You were getting some wiki price action, and man, we nailed this. So I played this move here from about 110 up to 130. Took full profits on that, and then we repositioned on this pullback here. I think Ryan got in on this one with me, but we repositioned on the pullback here, and we're just in massive profits today. I'm looking to let that run to about like 145 to 150. And SpaceX is looking pretty good. I mean, I actually had a 3-minute video that I shared this morning from a larger stream where I was saying that basically what ended up happening is these unlocks were far out over here in August into the future, and people started getting really bearish on them back in July, and you had an inverse buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So if I
Mm-hmm.
invert the chart, we know that if there's like a big Bitcoin event or if there's big news, Clarity Act, something's happening out here in the future. What do people do? People start buying the chart into that event, right? The market prices that event in. And then when the event happens, you have the opposite reaction. Usually the event is a sell off. Well, the same thing happened with SpaceX. It's a literal exact same thing. It was just inverted. The unlocks were way over here in August, and people started selling and shorting and fudding since back at the beginning of July. The market then got too stretched in one direction. And what ended up happening? As soon as the first day that people were eligible to sell their holdings, the market pumped. The market pumped. Wouldn't you know? The market pumped on the very first day when everyone said that this thing was supposed to nuke because all of these shares were being unlocked and people were going to be able to sell them. And look, we spent Lady Trader. We spent probably the last week at least talking about it daily on the Wolf Bitcoin Market Talk
Mm-hmm.
spaces, and I've been covering this entire thing. And the signal here, the reason we took this trade finally was we actually had a sweep of previous week low, and that was this move here. So you had this low here, and this week opened up, swept that low, and then instantly pumped, and that was the trigger. That This was the trigger here. You just had a beautiful sweep of prior week, and you can actually see that here. I'll highlight it. Boom, that was your sweep of the low of last week, and then on the lower time frame, once that happened, I mean, we were in, and we were ready to go. So when this happened here, right, that was the low of the previous week. Boom, you had your sweep here, and it immediately came back up as soon as it was in. We hit it. I got in at about 110. I didn't catch this. I don't ever try and catch the sweeps. I wait till after the sweep is done, and then the reclaim. And so I played this here. I waited for the sweep. Sweep happened on a reclaim up. You got a little bit of a pullback into that sweeping candle, and then it was go time. And this was just a beautiful, beautiful move. Um, I don't have the P&L and then the actual trade thing here to share, but it was basically, if I have to replicate it, it was basically like this was the move here, from there to there, and we played that just beautifully, beautifully here, and caught the full move. The second I took it, I put my stop or my TP at 128, and it went and hit that TP. Boom, took me out, took me in profits, and then the market, and then it rolled over. That was the funniest part, is it hit my move, and then it absolutely nuked when everyone up here was starting to get bullish on it, and then it just pulled it all back. So and then the new entry that we got on the pullback was basically that. It was another fake out below that low of last week, and only for it to close above, so it didn't hold, right? It was just a fake out, and I was like, hit it again, let's go again, boom. But this time, not only did we get the sweep, now we've got higher low, and now we've got higher highs, right? So we are in fact trying to send this higher based on this current structure here. So again, even here, even if this pulls back, in my opinion, that pullback is just gonna manifest into a move higher on SpaceX. So for me, SpaceX looks good. Oil was the other one that we've played very successfully. I think we even talked about this one on FOMO Friday last week, if I'm not mistaken, Lady Trader. I think it was last week when
Mm-hmm.
Nat and I think covered oil on stream here. And it was that look. I mean, we successfully called the long from about 70 up to 90. And that's after, I mean, we were calling for a move down here to 70 when we were still up here in the 90s. We were still in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
We said this thing's going to pull back, fill this gap, go to the bottom of the range at 70, and then we're going to long it back to 90. All of that happened when we called it months in advance. And then when it got up to 90, we started saying, hey, this thing's probably going to pull back down into the lower 70s again. We'll buy again on a pullback. And then I think if it all goes according to plan, after this pullback, we should see a bounce. It should take out 90 again. And then again, it's going to likely put us somewhere close to $100. I think that's what's in play here. I think oil is likely finding a bounce. So for me, I don't really see any reason for this to go back below 67. I think crude oil is trying to find a bottom somewhere in here in the lower 70s. I don't think it needs to dip down below 67 based on the technical structure of the chart. So even if this fails and comes back lower, in my opinion, anywhere above $70, I'm looking to buy it because I'm looking to build a position at around $70 for that next leg up that should take us over 90 back close to 100, maybe even above 100. So but yeah, that's pretty much what's had my attention lately is SpaceX, oil, range trading BTC, a couple stocks that we're buying and holding. But that's pretty much it. And gold and silver, I did not get long on these, but I will say, word of caution here: if you are long gold and you've not taken profits, this is definitely an area where, and again, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just sharing what I would do. Is if I was positioning down here for a long, this is absolutely where I would be peeling heavy profits on a gold long or a gold position because I don't think even if it goes a little bit above this, I think ultimately gold is still needing to correct further. Same thing goes
Mm-hmm.
for silver. I don't think either of those are done with the longer term downside. I think we're going to see silver below $50. I think we're going to see gold below probably back below 3,500 pretty comfortably. So maybe even maybe even below 3,000. But that's my take. That's kind of what I'm seeing.
Really awesome takes, Fitz. Thank you so much for going over that. We will definitely miss out on our equity alpha today since Nat is not here with
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
but we'll go ahead and I have some alpha to share, so I'm gonna start diving
yeah.
in
Take it away.
here. I'm gonna share my screen. Where did it go? Oh my goodness, where's my window? Okay, there's this, and it's my StreamYard. Okay. Mm, share screen. All right, so I have quite a bit of alpha to share. We're going to start with a launch pad, which is really, I feel it's revolutionizing a lot of things as far as the meme coins go. So um, this launchpad came out not too long ago, and when I found out about it, I sent an alpha on their main token, which was Stonk, and I asked everybody to keep an eye on it. We had Robinhood chain launching, right? Robinhood was talking about RWAs quite a bit, and we started to see some of really nice RWA plays on Robinhood Chain, some nice innovation happening. And here's the thing that I notice about the degens, right? People who really like meme coins, they want to be in the trenches. They somehow always end up going back to Solana. You could be in 10 different chains. You could do really, really well on all of those chains, and then you're going to make your way back to Solana ecosystem eventually. At least that's how I see it, right? We had so many new blockchains last bull market as well, but what were the leading ones? We always go back to Ethereum, Solana, and BSC. We always go back to Ethereum, Solana, and BSC. I do believe, though, this time Robinhood Chain is going to change things. Robinhood Chain, I believe, is going to be a big one for this bull cycle because it is also tied to an exchange and a major exchange with hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue, probably going to be hitting trillions over, like maybe in a year or so. So I think Robinhood Chain is going to be a um, big one to watch. So I'm definitely bullish on Robinhood Chain. We're going to switch over to Solana ecosystem for a little bit. So this launchpad, Stonk Fun, started launching tokens, or they actually allow you to launch tokens that you can pair with stocks and then also other memes within Solana ecosystem. And this thing just blew up. It was so incredible, so many opportunities. And really what I like is, how sometimes when you're buying a meme coin, you don't know if it's going to rug or not. Same risk applies here, right? You buy something, you're like, oh my gosh, is it going to rug? Is it going to run? Because a lot of these coins don't have a community, does not have a proper DEX tools and all of that. A lot of times DEX updates come in later on. So that's basically how it is, right? But what I really like is that the initial volume a lot of times covers your initial risk, which I think is an okay thing for me, right? And so I feel that there is a great opportunity here. Whenever I'm buying something here, I am earning rewards in the underlying asset, right? So if let's say they have something that is paired, like this particular play is paired with Ansem token. So if I'm holding this one, which I am, and we got into this one super early, um, we are earning in some rewards, which is great, right? If you're holding fries, you're earning McDonald's stocks on chain. So really the whole point of us buying and holding meme coins is it almost seems like an old concept now. Why would I want to go and buy something on pump.fund when I'm not even receiving any rewards? I'm just holding it for the sake of holding it. Can I at least get something in return when I'm holding something, right? So this is really incredible because every time I am holding a token like this one, I got into this one pretty early. I have earned enough rewards in robo strategy stocks that covered my initial risk and also gave me some profits, right? And so there is all of that. The biggest issue with this one is like the PvP because so many tickets can launch at the same time and all of that. And I believe the team is integrating something about that. So we'll have like OG signs with these pairs. And so keep an eye out for those features. But they have a pretty incredible dev who is really launching different features that are pretty nice. And so, and I'm looking for like, the first movers on this, of course, on this launchpad. I feel like this launchpad could do well. And then also look at their revenue. Their revenue, they are really beating some of the other launch pads with their revenue because their revenue goes into buybacks and burns. So this is almost like, okay, there's a guaranteed buyback and burn. So why would I not want to buy more of, Stonk and hold it because I know that this is deflationary and their fees are just absolutely remarkable. And I think it's also at a very nice price point. Again, not financial advice, do your own research. I think the price point here at 7.33 mil market cap super early. I think this could really blow up. Of course, there's always competition and things like that, so you have to keep an eye. Other launch pads, right? So many launch pads, it's crazy. It's like, guys, can we do any more innovation here? You can't just be creating launch pads. But this one actually did innovate a lot of things. So this one is one that I am definitely bullish on. I am actively looking for plays, looking for, what's there, and then of course earning the rewards, which is really, really sweet. So that's one. Now, another one that I want to talk about since we are talking about the launch pads, I'm going to pivot to this one. I don't know much about this except for this person is it seems like they're doxed. Um, so look them up. This is like a new launch pad. What they are doing is they allow you to pair with RWA stocks, right? So tokenized stocks, you can pair your liquidity with that. But then also you can dedicate as a dev where the fee goes to, right? To a charitable organization. They have a list of organizations that you can choose from, and I'm sure they're going to be adding more. So this is something that you need to keep an eye on, right? What I mean, I'm thinking of something, and I probably should not bring it up right now, but I'll go ahead and give you that alpha. I think it would be really incredible if they have an organization like Chippewan or some of the Shiba Inu focused organizations listed here, and then actually having a dog token that contributes towards those organizations in Japan. I think that could be pretty incredible. So I'll be actively stalking this launchpad. I already have a position in this one. Um, Again, risky, right? Very risky. Another launchpad, super early. Haven't not really seeing much. It's sitting at 66K. Nothing really going on in here. A few like 33 tokens, right? So we don't know what's going to happen with this one. I'm watching it right now. I'm not buying anything on the website yet. I'm buying it off of, just bot or MetaMask wallet, whatever you want to use it, just basically using the contract addresses from here. So this one I'm in. And yeah, so this is one that I'm keeping an eye on. So keep an eye on this one. Let's see if this one does anything. I think the concept is good with charity. So, I mean, it could do well. And they are also partnering with an organization. So check out those partnerships on their X account. It seems decent to me. So we'll keep an eye on it. This one at 66K. We'll monitor and see how it goes. For now, obviously, actively looking for opportunities here on Stonk Fun and see how those go. All right, moving on from Launchpad. We're going to talk about this token. It launched last week, actually this week. So it just launched and on Tuesday. So Seal is tied to Crypto Paradise. This is a DAO. This DAO was formed when Ferrum community was there. So some of the founders, or two of the founders who are leading Seal DAO, are actually from Ferrum Network. And Ferrum Network did $300 million market cap. These guys are absolutely incredible, very smart, fully doxed. You don't really see dox teams anymore that are launching. Um, tokens on Robinhood chain. So these guys are out there, their faces are out there, people know them, they are incredible. They have also incubated and launched major uh, Binance assisted plays, even, right? So we are talking about Chain GPT. It did incredible returns for all the DAO members because when you are a member of a DAO, you are able to get into those pre-sales early. So that's really the whole focus of Seal DAO. You have to hold 200K tokens to join the DAO, which it's still under $500, right? So super cheap. And you get into that DAO, and then you get all the alpha, you get all the pre-sale access. It basically pays for itself in the bull market, right? So be cautious there because we are not bottomed out yet. Now, this is an okay play for me. Why? Because BTC bottom is right around the corner, and I'm actively positioning myself into some of these plays. Stonk Fund was one of them, right? Crypto Paradise is another one. And I've known these people for quite a while. I'm saying multiple years because I was also part of Ferrum DAO. Now it's Seal DAO. And a lot of whales, it is a whale community, okay? And when I say a whale community, people just call every little alpha group a whale community. That's not the case. When you say whale, you should be able to show the numbers and say, okay, my group has raised millions of dollars, which they have. Okay. They also have people in that group that are also tied to big VCs. Either they are members of big VCs or they are also running their own VCs. So, a really nice high net worth group of people. And I think joining those people at this rate, it's a no brainer. Again, not financial advice, just throwing it out there, what I know and how it has benefited me. And a lot of those people, when Ferrum Network was still there, original co-founder of Ferrum Network, by the way, they left. And then, of course, these guys kept it running for a very long time until the revenue ran out. And now they are part of the crypto paradise. But a lot of those Ferrum whales who are also supporting Seal DAO, they paid, upwards of 30K to join that DAO. It was that valuable, right? That's basically the value during the bull market for these kind of communities. So I think it's a great community to be a part of. Keep an eye on this token. I think it's undervalued. They have previously done, like I said, $300 million market cap. They also supported, they created another token in the past called Surf, which was launched on um, Pulse Chain. And I wasn't too keen on Pulse Chain. I'm like, no, don't want to get into it, don't want to be a part of it, but we'll see what happens. And even during a bear market, during a bear market, and on a dead chain they still managed to pull 300x. So they have done some incredible returns. They've had their own Dow exclusive pre-sales that have done 50 to 100x or more. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Again, do your own research. Look up. I mean, these are good guys, very friendly people. You just want to be in that group. Even like I would be there even if there was no pre-sale, because they're just decent people, good people. You want to hang out with them. It's a good community to be a part of. So definitely keep an eye on it and be involved if you want to. So this is definitely a good one. Seal is the ticker. It is on Robinhood chain, and it's tied to Crypto Paradise. So look them up. That's a good one. Okay, moving on. This has been an alpha that I shared in Telegram a week or so ago while we were sitting right here. And this is the first RWA play on X layer, which is OKX's chain, right? So you know OKX exchange. They now have their own blockchain. This is their first one of their first movers. This is a an RWA play. So this is tied to a token, which is basically of a stock. I believe it's Nvidia, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is one that you need to be looking at as well. And I positioned myself here, and then I wanted to buy more, but because it's a new chain, sometimes the bridges could have some issues. But I would say only go for the bridge on OKX website. There is one available to you. Only use OKX swap. There is one available. So use these official channels. I was using Dior swap, and it started to give me some issues. So I couldn't buy when I wanted to buy more, but I already have a pretty nice position on this, which is up significantly. But I was going to accumulate like all of this, right? That was my plan. I didn't get to accumulate, but I did have a pretty nice entry. It is under, I think it was like 150K or something like this. So it's up over 10x already. If you are in the group and Telegram community, you're also up quite a bit on this one if you got in. But I think this could be a first mover on OKX chain or X layer chain. It's also being pushed very heavily by Chinese influencers, and you know what happens, right? When Chinese KOLs get involved, yeah, it's usually good. So I'm in it. I'm holding it. We'll see how this one plays out. And yeah, well, so this is another one that I am looking at. Let's see. This is a stonk, right, that I talked about. So I have a position in it. I'll be buying more, to be honest. On this one, I'm going to convert any rewards I get into stonk, just because I think it's super early still. A lot of people have still not caught up to it. It's funny because like my community and myself, we were in early on some of these plays, and now other people are talking about it, and it's like, yes, we were early. We caught these plays pretty early. So, yeah, this is. I'm watching this one. Of course, there's always going to be these pullbacks, especially when you hit major numbers. Like we got really close to 10 mil market cap. So hopefully, it gives us some dips that we can all buy. But yeah, that's really what I have. But keep watching all this. Another one I want to bring up, keep an eye on this one. This is going to be a major play as well. Pfeffer, this is the first meme coin of stable chain. I am accumulating this one quite heavily. Well, I think this is going to be a long-term play. Potentially, it can go into hundreds of millions, if not more. We'll see. Again, speculation, right? But you have to have a strategy when you're also doing meme coins. And this is my strategy. Find the first movers. This is the first mover on a stable chain. So I am going to be heavily positioning myself into this one. Another one, GME on Robinhood chain, if I can bring it up. First RWA, I'm not liking their dev team, whoever they are. It just seems like it's constant farming, selling pressure. So just not a big fan of it. Like it's looked like a rug chart, even though we are sitting at a nice market cap. But I do think it's gonna bottom out, and it's gonna potentially get a Robinhood listing as well, because Robinhood has listed a meme coin. Now it's time that they start listing some RWA plays, and this was the first RWA focus pair, which was actually tied to a tokenized stock. So bullish on this one long term. Hopefully, we can continue to position ourselves into this one and catch some upside on this one. So that's going to be the play. The other one, my favorite, AMC, because whenever GME runs, AMC runs. This is one that I am holding. I did not take any profits on, when it was pumping, even though Bixel felt was like, nah, it's gonna go back down. He was right. But yeah, So this is one that I'm still holding based off of my previous experience dealing with AMC and GME on Ethereum chain. There is no tokenized AMC stock, so we are safe there. PVP risk is low. So we'll just keep an eye on this one and we'll continue to accumulate. That's my strategy on this one. Again, this is now a risky one, especially with all of the other tokenized stocks and everything that's out there. But this is one play that I am definitely in and willing to hold long term until it does something. So um, that is really all I have as far as the alpha goes. If you're not in Alpha Seedlings Telegram community, make sure that you do send me a DM so you can be added. If you want to join Sealed Out, definitely send me a DM and I'll help you. I'll walk you through it personally. I think it's a great group to be a part of, especially as we get close to the end of the bear market. You have to be in the right groups, you have to be with the right networks. That's how you're going to benefit from, right? Your network is your net worth. That's what I believe in very strongly. So if you have strong networks, you're going to be okay going into the next bull market. And some of the strongest networks that you can align yourself with, of course, Alpha Seedlings, which is the Telegram community. DM me, it's free to join. Also wolf community, right? There is no like Telegram or anything, but just join their spaces because there is just so much alpha that's constantly shared on those spaces, especially if you are into trading. If you want to get into perps, those are the guys to watch. Follow Bits of Wealth. He also has his own community. It's for traders only. So if you're a trader, definitely send him a DM and he'll walk you through the process on how to join and all of that. So definitely join that community as well. Lots of great
Yeah.
stuff here, lots of communities. Bits, anything you want to add?
No, look, I mean, if you want the meme coin alpha, I don't think anyone's working harder than Lady Trader on finding this stuff, finding the right plays. So Alpha Seedlings is definitely the community for that. She is putting in overtime right now, and she brings a lot of alpha to the community. So yeah, I appreciate you shouting out my community. So, but yeah, if anyone's interested, you want more details, just hit me up. But yeah, heavy trade focus, heavy on perps. Even though we do, there are some spot plays in there, but it is very much trade focused. So no, but look, that's about it. I think it's a great stream. I think there's money's always moving somewhere is what I'm trying to say, right? And sometimes money's
Mm-hmm.
moving in TradFi, sometimes it's moving in crypto, sometimes it's moving in perps, sometimes it's moving in the trenches, meme coin trenches. And look, I think there's a middle ground where once the energy comes back into some of these memes and altcoins and it starts running, you can trade that stuff. I think Lady Trader and I have proven that, but you can definitely trade this stuff. It's less reliable and it's more risky than trading something that's like very liquid, but you
Mm-hmm.
definitely can find pullbacks to buy. You can definitely find areas to sell. It is very much doable, but you need the liquidity, you need the energy and the money to be flowing in these for that to be reliable. If it's
Mm-hmm.
a low liquidity environment, it's just a little bit harder. It's more about what Lady Trader does, which is finding the alpha early and positioning before 90% of people, even more, probably even 99% of people. Because she's getting some of this stuff where it's like, man, there's like nobody has discovered this stuff. She is
Mm-hmm.
early. So, yeah, look, you just got to know the game that's being played, and if it's a game that you don't want to play, that's okay. Be willing to sit it out, and look for what you do want. But the other side of that is sometimes you adapt. You adapt a little bit, and you got to play. If you want to play, you got to play the game that's being played, right?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And then also, since we're talking about our strategies here, Bits of Wealth
Yeah,
has a pretty awesome winning strategy for memes as well. It's trading
yeah,
strategy, but
yep,
man, those like that method has a very high win rate. So you're talking upwards of 90% win rate,
yeah,
and you're gonna get some really awesome, especially during the bull market. You're gonna catch.
yes.
It's probably gonna go up to like 99% accuracy at that point because in the
Probably
bull
will.
market things are
We just need
different. Yeah, I think
money
so.
and energy to come back.
But
If attention is there,
exactly.
this thing is gonna print. Yeah.
It will, yeah. So it's like easy money. Like I when I'm
Mm-hmm.
bored, I'm looking at a meme coin chart and I'm like, all right, here's bits of wealth strategy. Here's the level. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get in, I'm gonna buy it here, and boom, it's like easy
Yeah.
2x. All right, I'll
Two
take
two
that.
X
So
reliable.
2x,
Yeah.
2x
Yeah.
reliable, very
Yeah.
reliable 2x. And so I would say definitely hit them up and join. And I also share that strategy, not like the method.
Yes.
That's Bits of Wealth is going to teach you that. But I do share setups sometimes in my group
Yes.
as well. So if you join this community,
You've
of
learned
course,
it
you can ask
well.
them, hey,
You've learned it well.
yeah,
And like it's
yes,
this is
absolutely.
this is what's cool of like the networking side is I've learned some lady trader tricks. She's learned some of my tricks. We've learned some
Hmm.
of Nat's tricks. Like this is what you do. You find other people that
Exactly.
have strengths or skills that you hadn't heard of or you hadn't really used, and then you learn them, and sometimes it makes sense. You adapt them into your strategy. So yeah.
Absolutely. It increases your
Mm-hmm.
ammo.
Yeah,
And yeah,
100%.
it's absolutely incredible.
100%.
So, all
Awesome.
right.
Great
And
stream. Great stream.
great, great.
Great FOMO Friday. Yeah, look, we'll keep Nat in our thoughts. We mentioned this on the Wolf Trader Talk earlier today, but we all go through stuff in life. It's easy to forget that we're all living lives outside of these streams and spaces, but we all have families and things to attend to. So
Hmm.
big thoughts and prayers out to Nat and her family.
Yeah, absolutely. Praying for her as well. Please keep her and her family in your
Mm-hmm.
prayers. She is absolutely incredible. She gives
Yeah,
so much back to the community. And
yeah,
so
she's
we are
great.
definitely here for us. And yeah, we'll be back again hopefully next week. And also, what Bit said, it's so
Yes.
important that we all have lives outside of this. I was
Yeah.
traveling this week,
Don't forget that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I had a scare where I thought my Telegram account was lost, so I started pinging
Oof.
people. I reported a scammer, and then I was mass reported. So, and then I had internet issues. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't send messages. So cannot post in my group anymore. It just says loading, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? Like,
Oh
am I
man.
getting kicked out of Telegram? So yeah, but we
Yeah.
all have lives outside of crypto, and we have
Yeah.
families. We travel. It's fun, but
Yes.
well, we all dedicate some, our time to and volunteer to teach the
Yeah.
community, to give back, because this Web3 has given us so much that
Yeah.
it's almost like we feel it's our duty to give back. It's our duty to teach people what we know, so that other people can also be successful and find the freedom that they are looking for. So hopefully
Yes.
we are going to continue to create those value for you, and you can support us by showing up, retweeting, liking, commenting on our tweets, sharing those tweets with your communities, right? Getting as many
Mm-hmm.
people up here as you can. And yeah, this is like a good chunk of KOLs that like myself, Bits, a few others who are dedicated to the community. And our goal is to make sure our communities are successful. We are not here to, you know, bring you opportunities where we are buying and then we are selling it on you. Like a lot of times you're actually going to be selling before I do. Most of the time, I would say
Mm-hmm.
98% of the time, you're going to be getting better exits than I do. Like it's pretty much a guarantee. So definitely some good people here in the network. And yeah, so join us and we'll
Yeah.
see you next week. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Bye
Bits, for
guys.
co-hosting it with me.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.